All right, folks. Well, to the two people who are watching, one of them's probably myself because I've got the comments going. Yeah, I didn't really plan on doing a live stream tonight, but when you have one of those days where you just feel like I need a couple of drinks. Don't know what it has, been in a little bit of a funk recently. And today had to work from home because someone who I live with had to have a COVID test today. We don't think, well, we're 99% sure he doesn't have it, but because he's vulnerable, we had to take precautions, which he should do. And we've awaiting those results. So for the next few days, I'm going to be working from home. It wasn't too bad today, but it's just since the start of this year, it's because of the whole C word, which you can't really talk about on YouTube unless you want to have your channel stricken down. But anyway, hope everyone's doing well. A bit of an impromptu stream, but I've had these two beers for a little while now. I've been meaning to do this stream for a little while since I had them, but never got around to it. I was going to do a video, but I thought it'd be better doing it live, just because it's easier and I don't have to worry about recording, uploading, and then when the main sort of crux of people watching the video, they're watching the potato quality before it's fully processed. So I thought we'll do it this way. Plus get to talk to some of you guys as well. Speaking of which, we've got Terry from Terry's Quick Beer Reviews. It says, "Evening, Mr. Clueless." Evening, Terry. I'm going to stop waggling my pencil. Take that how you want it. Ignore that. I'm going to stop waggling this because it's quite... Listen, children. But yeah, so we've got two beers. Hope you're doing well, Terry. Hope you and yours are staying safe during these awful, awful times. And now we found out that the EU once again wants to penalise us and may cause a few complications in us receiving jabs. But hey ho, it is what it is. It's beyond our control. And we won't get bogged down in politics today. We've got James Rothwell who says, "Hi, Peter." Hi, James. Hope you're doing well. Hope you and yours are doing okay. So, I know I did a stream last night, but fuck it. Might as well do another one. Pardon my French. So today we've got two beers from the same brewery. And I've really enjoyed all of the beers that I've had from these guys. I think there's still a couple that actually need to be uploaded. But each and every one of them has just been absolute high quality. And that is the Suarez family brewery out of New York. I got these on a Facebook group called Supermarket Sips, where basically it's sort of like a lucky dip. You pick a number between 0 and 9. They base it on the Belgian lottery system. So when the numbers come up, whatever number's drawn first is the one you pick, is the one that wins. And then everyone puts their money into it. And like 10% sometimes goes to a charity of the winner's choice, that sort of thing. Sometimes the labels are included, but sometimes you have to pay for your own label, which is absolutely fine. And I suppose it's a good way to unload some really high quality beer without having the rigmarole of trying to sell it. And there was a lot from these guys, a lot of 5 or 6 beers, I can't remember. All lagers from the Suarez family brewery out in New York. And these are both Pilsners. So we've got the Palatine Pils, and I've got some notes here because I didn't want to have to keep going to Untapped. There's not much writing about these in terms of a description on Untapped. So we've got the Palatine Pils, which is described as Pils German, 4.8% ABV. And this is sort of their house Pilsner. And it's one of those situations where they don't put the ABV on the cans or bottles, so it means you can have as many as you want. Like, how do they sort of like I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I don't understand that, why ABV is voluntary in some states. I don't know. But yeah, 4.8% ABV, so they're sort of like house Pilsner. And then we've got the Qualify Pils, which is 5% ABV, described once again as Pilsner in the German style. And this is actually, in the description, noted as a hop accented Pilsner. So, lovely looking labels on these, quite uniform, and they do some really nice big bottles as well, looking at the social media. So, I'm expecting a quiet night tonight. Why did I say that? Got 5 people in the chat. Thank you all for joining me. So I've got pretty much two of the only glasses that I've got the same. One is a Beavertown, and then one is a Siren. I don't care if Beavertown, they still do good beers. Gamma Ray is still an absolute classic. But yeah, they're the only 2 glasses I've got that are at the same shape. Anyway, so we'll crack the Palatine Pils open. The guy who I won these off actually recommended doing a head-to-head with these before he sent them out to me. And then the conversation just stopped. So I don't know what he thought of them. So I won't pour it all in. So we're going for the Palatine in the Siren. Sounds like a song title. And then we're going to go for the Qualify in the Beavertown. So we'll see what we get with both of these. Should be easy to remember which cans I've poured into which glasses. And speaking of which, got some dirty glassware here, so I'll just give it a quick bang on the surface. That's what she said. So, beer in the glass then. Both of them, well, I'd say actually the Palatine is a little bit paler, a little bit straw-like, whereas the Qualify has maybe a little bit more of a slight amberish hue to it. Both of them have got a little bit, would we put that down to chill haze, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know. But they do look relatively unfiltered, all things considered. But yeah, the Qualify just seems to have a little bit more depth in terms of its colour. Head, pretty much the same. Soapy Daz White head. And yeah, looking really, really nice, as you would expect a Pilsner to look. So we'll give the Palatine a sniff first. Get a little bit of lemon. Get a little bit of grass, wheat. Very subtle muskiness, but there's also a sweetness in there. Like an ever so slight syrupy sweetness. Pretty bog standard in terms of its aroma. And that's not meant with any negative connotations, of course. It's just what you expect a Pilsner to smell like. It smells really good. Very nice indeed. So let's have a bit of a sniff of the Qualify. Oh, yeah, it's definitely got a little bit more of a, almost like a grapey must sort of aroma coming through. It smells a little bit more dry, if that makes sense. There's definitely a twang to it, I would say. A little bit bready, biscuity. This has got, if you've ever made schnitzel, it's got sort of like freshly fried schnitzel and you've squeezed a little bit of lemon onto it. Actually, this is a little bit more lemony. Definitely get more of a hoppiness to it. And now the more I'm smelling it, the more that sort of musky Nelson-like aroma has sort of subsided. Intriguing. Definitely has a little bit more character to it in terms of the nose. So let's see what they taste like. Going to start off with, I keep having to look. It's not trying to remember which beer is which. It's trying to remember the names, because Palatine and Qualify, they're words that I could easily get confused about. Doesn't take much to confuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, let's give it a sniff. A taste. Fuck off. Cheers. Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can actually say about a beer like this. It's just a very basic, authentic tasting Pilsner. No bells and whistles. Just brewed to what I'd imagine is a pretty standard, authentic recipe. It's crisp, light-bodied. It's a little bit more breadiness to it. Yeah, if you like Pilsners, you're going to really enjoy it. It's tasting very much like an authentic German Pilsner. And I could see at their tap room this going down very popular and getting a lot of regular drinkers, if that makes sense. Excuse me. Yeah, that's good. That's really nice and simple. Nice and simple. Don't know why I said it like that. So, we'll see what we get on the Qualify Pils. A little bit higher ABV, a little bit more pronounced hoppage. We'll see what it tastes like. Prost. The first thing I notice is, even though it's just 0.2%, it's definitely give the beer a little bit more of a body. It doesn't really look like it too much, but it sort of has that feel of a really nice, like, Keller beer. A hop accented Pilsner. I would actually say, for the hoppy character you usually get in a German Pilsner, the Palatine has a little bit more of a distinct hop flavour. This, to me, is much more bready. I mean, there's always a chance that if they've like dry hopped this, then I mean, I don't know really when these were canned. I mean, I've got the canned on date, but there's too much beer in the can, and I don't want to spill it. But then again, hops in canned beer tend to last a little bit longer, so I don't think it's faded. But yeah, smoother, more rounded, not as crisp, but still equally as refreshing as the Palatine. Let me just have a quick look at this, see if I can actually read it. So this was canned on the, oh, actually, it was canned on, is that the 5th, 6th, or 8th of November last year. So quite fresh, actually, for an American beer. I mean, when I got it, it was uber fresh, because I got this probably about a week after it must have been canned. So yeah, definitely, I wouldn't say there's been any sort of hop fade. But then again, because it says hop accented Pilsner, I think you sort of run the risk of like falling into that trap of instantly thinking of like American hops. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, the sort of like really juicy, fruity, citrusy, tropical hops. Whereas with the hops you use in this sort of style of beer, you're not going to get those characteristics, are you? So it's got a little bit more of an oaty aftertaste to it. And dare I say, maybe even a little bit bitter, but not too much. It's not a bitter beer. It's just got a tiny bit more bitterness than the standard. Well, I don't know. The things they're obviously completely different recipes because of the different ABVs. Yeah, it's the Palatine. It's definitely got a tiny little bit of a citrus character coming through. And yeah, there's not much in between them in terms of enjoyment factors. Both of them are absolutely cracking pilsners. I'd say the Palatine is probably the more satisfyingly quaffable, crushable, all the keywords of its style. But then again, you could absolutely demolish the qualifier. I keep having to look to remember the names, but you would have to. You would be able to absolutely demolish both beers equally. It's just obviously the Palatine is a little bit lighter, tastes a little bit fresher, but not in the sense of like age or anything like that. It's just got a little bit more of like slight bite to it. When was that canned on? And that was actually canned on the 20th of October, I think. So not much in terms of the dates between both beers. But yeah, it's a tough one. It's definitely a tough one because there are a lot of similarities, of course, because of the styles of beer. But I don't know. Don't know what to think of this one. Let's have one more taste. It's sort of, but in a good way, a catch-22 situation because I think I prefer the flavour of the Palatine pills, but I prefer the body of the Qualify pills. So I'd say it's one of those situations for every like pint or can of the Qualify, you'd probably be able to have 2 pints or cans of the Palatine. The Qualify feels a little bit heavier after you've drank it. As said, it's got more of that sort of Keller style to it. Bit smoother. It's sort of, even though it's hop accented, I think you get more of the flavors from the grain bill, and it's got just maybe a little bit more character in that regard. But I like the sort of bright freshness from the Palatine. So they're both. It's sort of pretty much neck and neck. It's probably the most microscopic, like, hair follicle between them. But at the same time, I don't think one is better than the other. Do you know what I mean? Both equally just as enjoyable. So they'll probably get. I'm trying to stop doing scores on my reviews, just because there have been beers that have been absolutely wonderful that I've given an 8, and beers that I've probably enjoyed just as much that I've ended up giving a 10. So we're going to omit or refrain from scoring the beers on this occasion. I'm going to try and remember to do that going forward. But I would definitely say, given the choice, I would probably just marginally go for the Palatine. Just because, and if Paul from PA Brew News was here right now, he'd be bitch slapping me across the face because of that romanticism that I have with German beers. It takes me back to being and living in Germany and going to like a beer garden or picking some bottles up from the local supermarket, that sort of thing. The Palatine definitely wins it on the sort of authenticity scale, if you were ever to rate a beer that way. But as I said, qualifies just got a little bit more oomph and a little bit overall character. But I think it's going to be the Palatine. But it's not by a landslide by any stretch. Both beers are very, very highly recommended. If you like your lagers. In fact, the Suarez family brewery, all the beers that I've had from this little lot that I won have just been absolute quality. And I love that. I love the fact that, a brewery coming out of New York in these years, surrounded by, the likes of your other halves who are absolutely dominating with the uber hop forward beers and the heavily adjunct stouts and fruited sours and that sort of thing. It's great to see a brewery that's just like, well, do you know what? We just want to make some like authentic tasting lagers. The smoked lager was fantastic if you like smoked beers. The alt beer, if you're into alt beers, was really good. I think I had a Hellers from them. Can't remember what else there was that I had, but they were all fantastic and very, very authentic, and I really, really like that. No dicking around by dry hopping it with, the whatever the flavour of the month is in terms of hops and that sort of stuff, which is absolutely fine because I love those sorts of beers anyway. I like seeing old things turned into something new. It's got that sort of like, dare I say it, like DIY music aesthetic to it. But anyway, we're going down a stupidly pretentious path with that discussion, so we're going to put that to a halt. But yeah, both beers highly recommended. The brewery itself very highly recommended. I know it's pretty much the American guys who will be getting hold of this, especially in the state of New York. But anyone in the UK, if these beers ever cross our shores and pop up in bottle shops, or if you see someone offering them up for trade, and you want to taste some really high quality lagers, then definitely give the Suarez family brewery a try. They're definitely a brewery I'll be on the lookout for going forward. And the American brewers who brew beers like this, because there's a really big sort of like German heritage in America. It's a very multicultural, multi-ethnic sort of country. Big influx of Irish, you had big influx of Brits, Greeks, and it's a big melting pot. I mean, you look at what's happening on the news now, and you know, can get a little bit ugly, but at its heart, America is, full of so many different cultures, and unfortunately, the toxic age of technology and mainstream media said we weren't going to get political, but we did, and I'm sorry. But Terry says, I'm all for the flavour. Very much so. I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, isn't it? It's flavour. If it doesn't taste nice, it doesn't taste nice. If it tastes lovely, it tastes lovely. If it tastes shit, it tastes shit. But yeah, I've got so much respect for them respecting, these brewing heritages, and yeah, I'll always go back to the German lagers, whether it be a Pilsner or a Doppelbock, Dunkel, Keller, Alt beer, Kolsch. Still need to fully warm to a Kolsch style. Let's see. James says, "Are you getting the Cloudwater of a half box?" I saw that they posted that on their Instagram. Is that box out now, or is it still sort of being teased for? Is because I guess it's for one of their tasting sessions. Like, because I know the people who subscribe to the Cloudwater mailing list always get sort of like a first dibs on that. I might be up for that, this week. Yeah, I could use the excuse that it's my birthday in a couple of weeks. I'll have a look into that. It's one of those things where if I see it and I can get hold of it, I'll definitely do so. But if I'm not able to do so, then it is what it is. Are you getting it, James? I can imagine there's some proper bangers. I think even one of the was it the Mylar Daydream beers or something like that? I saw them tease it's available tomorrow. Ooh, I could be very tempted. I could be very, very tempted. But I've only just received my Trembling Madness order, and I've got potentially two old boxes coming at the start of February. I know Adam's going to be probably posting some beers to me as well. I've got loads of beer at the moment. We shall see. You hope to. Yeah, I can imagine that is going to go down pretty quickly. I mean, luckily I'm working from home again, so I can just have a look on my phone and order it as soon as it gets released. Because I did see them, a burp and a cough at the same time. I did see them post that in their Instagram stories. But I don't know if you saw my unboxing, James, but I've got the Persistence. Is it Persistence is Utile or Resistance? I think it's Persistence is Utile. The slightly newer one, although it's not new. The Imperial Stout. I'm looking forward to cracking that open, but I'm going to save that for my birthday week because I'm going to be doing an American coffee beer, just a coffee beer week, not an American coffee beer week, and a coffee beer week. How many times can I say coffee beer week in quick succession and not be able to say succession successfully? But yeah, I'll have to look out for that. As said, if I can get it, I'll get it. If I miss out on it, there'll always be opportunities in the future to get hold of other half, even though I do absolutely love the bitter chalk. Yeah, that's the one I've got, I think. Is it? I can't remember. It's not the first one they did, or have they done a few now? I can't remember. But yeah, looking forward to that one. But yeah, can't beat a little bit of other half. And I think speaking of which, I think there's some form of connection between other half and the Suarez family brewery. I'm sure Adam from Mersey Beers mentioned something about that. In fact, let me just stretch out this live stream a little bit more and have a look just to see. Quick Google search. Professional, obviously. Looking at his phone during a stream. Let's see. Yeah, because I don't know. Like, isn't one person a former brewer at who or used to brew at other half? I think there's some sort of connection, or I might have just invented it in my head. I don't know, but yeah. Very. To cut a long story short, I really enjoy other half. They had their triple Milo Daydream, or one of the versions of it last year, and it was like a can that was half a year to like 9 months old, and it's still one of the best triple IPAs that I've ever had in my life. So yeah, I'll be excited for that. Might pick that up. But yeah, two fantastic little beers. If you can get the opportunity to try them, especially you guys over in the States. If I've still got any American friends after some of my jokes about American politics on social media, but hey ho, it is what it is. But anyway, yeah. So cheers for watching, folks. Adam from Those Beers, speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Handsome devil, that is, Adam. We're just mentioning, because I was going to say, I'm not going to end this stream now. I'll stay around for a little bit longer. But the Suarez family brewery, was it you who was telling me that there's a connection between those and Other Half? Because as James pointed out, Cloudwater are doing a box with Other Half, and it's going to be released tomorrow. So I might pick that up, even though I've spent loads on beer recently. But I hope you're doing okay, Adam. I know they called you James, and I don't know why. But yeah, just hang around a little bit longer. Just so I can await a response from Adam, hopefully. If not, I'll just end the stream. Yeah, a bit of a quieter one tonight. But mind you, I think people have got much better things to do than to watch my ugly mug talk about beers that I don't really know much about. But I do appreciate you guys stopping by. What else are you going to do on the evenings? Do you know what I mean? It's a shame I can't monetize the shit out of all of this. I think the chat on YouTube might actually be a little bit behind because I've only just seen. Do you fancy the Rivington Cloudwater collab? I've been seeing that because is that one of the collabs that they're doing for like independent retailers? They're doing one. I'm sure they're doing a series. But yeah, Rivington, can't go wrong with Rivington. Very, very underrated brewery, and it's good to see that they're, getting involved with Cloudwater in some collaborations. But yeah, I'd be very interested. I'd have to look into it, see what it is, because I love both breweries, and in fact, my favourite IPA from last year was from Rivington. One of the indie ones. Ah, okay, yeah. I know people were a little bit sort of not kicking off at Paul with his sort of like indie store releases, but I know people took a few issues with that. I mean, I don't necessarily see eye to eye with anyone because one eye's looking at you, one eye's looking for you. But I don't necessarily see eye to eye with Paul on everything, especially some of his very, 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 very left leaning politics. But yeah, he got himself into a little spot of bother because he had a whole thing, like a mission statement sort of thing, saying that he wasn't like selling to independent retailers, as the first during the first lockdown, but now as sort of like a thank you, he's creating not only distributing to the indies properly, but also giving them exclusive beers. But you know what? I'm all for it. You know, there's nothing wrong with seeing the value in something and then changing your mind. I think isn't that what life's all about? If you've got a viewpoint and you discover that there might be problems with that viewpoint, you could always change your opinion. It's not a bad thing to change your opinion on things. I mean, look at what pretty much all the experts were saying at the start of the COVID outbreak, where they were saying, "Oh, it's nothing to worry about. Oh, we don't need to wear masks." And now, Q2 over a year later, and we're up shit street without paddle because we just didn't know. We just didn't know what we were dealing with, and I don't think we really know what we're dealing with anyway. So it's of course, that's what debate, science, and logic is all about. Do you know what I mean? It's about having a viewpoint, discussing that viewpoint. You don't always have to realise that you're wrong. Don't get me, I'm not trying to say that, but if you're wrong on something, there's nothing wrong. Fucking hell. If if you've been proven wrong on something, there's nothing wrong with accepting that and moving on. But yeah, speaking of moving on, I'm gonna cut this one short. Just because I know if I carry on doing a stream, I'll end up just getting another couple of beers. And even though I am working from home, I really can't be arsed being lethargic tomorrow. But I am off. I've got Saturday off. It's my rotated weekend, so I've got Friday and Saturday to do some nice drinking, so I'm sure there'll be streams, and I'll probably end up doing another stream before then, because speaking of Cloudwater, I've got those 2 double IPAs, haven't I? The IPAs that they did with the Left-Handed Giant, where they sort of took the same beer and made it their own. So like the same base recipe or something like that. So I'll be doing a live sort of review on that one. Basically, because that's a little bit more hypey, I might get the views in, but it's not all about the views, is it really? I don't warrant the reviews. When was the Cloudwater Rivington collab announced? Said Adam. If I remember correctly, they posted about it on Instagram. Was it earlier this week or late last week? More like a teaser that they were doing collaborations. I think it's next week when they're actually releasing it or announcing it properly. Because I can't remember who else they're doing it with. But it does sound potentially really good. You've got 2 absolute behemoths. Let's see. Adam says, don't go on Instagram, or don't do Instagram, I should say. Not down with the kids. It's not really kids anymore, is it? Well, not the people who I follow. Jesus, you'd think I was a degenerate with the profiles that I follow. 8th Day and Runaway this week. Okay. So they release them in stages. Quickly brush over my Instagram activity there. Yeah, got the new Rivington double IPA today, said Adam. Ooh, that sounds good. What's the hot build on that? See, I'm sticking around a little bit longer. I just said I wasn't going to stick around longer, but I am sticking around longer because I'm a hypocrite. But we're all hypocrites at the end of the day. See, I keep wanting to actually... I don't want to end this live stream. But I know I can't really be sat around. That sounded like a really not so subtle hint of a want to end the live stream, didn't it? That it's not. Trust me. Gives me something to do, do you know what I mean? Like a bored, lonely housewife when I'm working from home. But yeah, they're both really good beers. Anyway, so I will end it now. I'm terrible and ending stuff. I hate ending conversations with people. I hate sort of like interrupting a conversation so we can move on to the next thing. I just let it flow, which can be a detriment at times, but I'm just too polite and too well mannered. I'm too much of a gentleman, obviously. But anyway, I get notifications on my phone now, so any minute now, I'm gonna get like 2 in a row, and it's gonna make my phone slide off the fake Home Bargain Yankee Candle ripoff. But it's a gingerbread one from Christmas, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, cheers for stopping by, folks. Thank you to everyone who's commented. We'll give shout outs to everyone who got involved. Terry, of course, for Terry's Quick Beer Reviews. James Orwell, and Adam from Mercy Beers. Hope all you guys have had a good evening. Don't know why you decided to waste nearly an hour of it with me, but very much appreciated. Hope you, if you were drinking, you were drinking something good. Hope you're having a good week so far. It's hump day. Can you sound any more camp? But yeah, cheers for watching, folks. Go check out Suarez Family Brewery. I'll probably forget to update the description on this. So just Google search and you'll find them. And yeah, it says thanks, Peter. Oh, thank you for stopping by, James. Always a pleasure. And I hope the rest of your week is a good one. And you'll probably see some live stuff happening between now and the end of the weekend. So yeah, cheers all. You all take care, and everyone who's watching this after the live stream's posted, thanks for sticking by as well. Thoughts and opinions, if you have tried these beers or anything else from the Suarez Family Brewery, greatly appreciated. And I have reviewed a couple on the channel so far, so they're definitely worth checking out. Not for me, but for the beers themselves. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. You all take care, stay safe, enjoy the rest of your week, and you'll probably see me a little bit sooner than you want to. Anyway, cheers and goodbye.